Hi friends, Queen of Flannel here. Welcome to the channel. If you are new, welcome back. If you are returning. So today I have some updated information for all of you pertaining to the Derwent Chromaflow pencils. Now, I'm going to link in the description below to two other channels, Claire over at Color with Claire and Harry, the Art Gear Guide, because I'm going to kind of reiterate some information that they shared in their videos when the expansion of these pencils first came out, and plus you should be following them anyways because their channels are amazing. So not to go back through the whole history of these pencils, but we'll talk a little bit about that first, and then I will explain how I got to, well, I can't even open it at the moment, how I was able to accomplish this. But first, to get to that, it's been almost a year since Derwent announced the expansion of the Chromaflow pencils. First, they announced they were releasing a 100 color set, and then shortly after that, they announced that they were releasing an additional 50 colors and a 150 color set. And so there was some confusion and some frustration because of the way the rollout was announced. There also wasn't a lot of transparency about whether or not those new 78 colors would be released open stock. If so, would they come out in the UK first? How that all was going to work? When these pencils were first released, they came out in the US first, and then the UK. And with the expanded sets, they came out in the UK first, and then were released in the US shortly thereafter that. Now, Cult Pens was kind enough to curate a 78 color set, limited edition. I totally understand why that was not a feasible long-term option, because essentially what they were doing was pulling these 150 tin sets apart to make that curated set of the 78 new colors, which I imagine was very expensive on their part. So now there is on Cult Pens a 28 color companion set, and so that kind of gets us to where we are now. When Claire did her video, Derwent stated that the 100 and the 150 tins would be released in the US within the next coming couple of months. So July was when they were readily available on Amazon and Blick and a few other retailers. Shortly thereafter that, again, Derwent also informed Claire that 28 of the new colors would be released open stock. That happened. They were released, you can get them on Cult Pens in a curated set and as individual pencils, and they are also available on Blick. So that left 50 of those new colors in their open stock status kind of up in the air. Now, I reached out to Derwent and specifically asked if they had any plans to release those 50 remaining colors that get you from the 100 set to the 150 set to even any other UK retailers. Currently, they are available open stock on Derwent UK's website and nowhere else. And unfortunately, this was the response that I received back. Unfortunately, there is no current plans for the full Chromaflow range to be rolled out as free stock to other distributors. However, that is not to say that we will not consider offering this in the future. I've passed on your interest on to our marketing team for their consideration. So 50 of those colors are exclusive to the Derwent UK website. The issue with that is that the Derwent UK website does not ship to the US. They don't ship to Canada currently, and as of the last time I looked, they did not ship to the EU. So those of us that are in any of those areas that have purchased these pencils are kind of SOL. I could buy a whole other tin of 150 pencils, but if you are like me, I'm sure if you go through some of your pencil sets, there are colors that you don't use very often and colors that you use more frequently than others. And since I have been using these quite a bit lately, these have actually become my go-to pencil. A few of the pencils that are in that 50 are starting to run down. And so that brings me, I'm going to move our 150 tin out of the way, and that brings me to this little ditty right here. So I actually was able to replace some of those 50 colors, and it was a bit of a process, but I wanted to share it with you. Actually, stand by. I'm going to take these out of the plastic so we don't have to sit here and look at the glare. I left the shipping plastic on this, so give me just a second. Okay, now we can look at all of the pretty pencils, and I can explain to you how I did this, considering I just told you I am in the US. Derwent UK does not ship to the US. And the only place that open stock for 50 of the expanded range are available on the Derwent UK website. So I have used this process before. When I was stationed in Germany, I had a US freight forwarding address service. If you're not familiar with it, basically you sign up through various companies, and what they do is they give you a shipping address, and usually it's like a P.O. box. And we had issues when we were stationed in Germany with certain companies and, Amazon vendors that wouldn't ship to APO addresses. So we signed up for a freight forwarding service in the U.S. You have your product sent to that forwarding address, and then that freight company ships it on. So that is essentially what I did to replace these pencils. Now, this is a disclaimer. I'm going to give you the prices that I paid in the process that I went through, the company that I went through, and keep in mind that if you go this route, your pricing may be different if there are taxes or import fees for shipping to your location. I went with a company called Skypacks. They have two different options that you can sign up for. One is if you're, a casual shopper, you think you may only use it every, a couple times a year, whatnot. And then an option for if you are a heavy shopper, if you're running a business. The single option that I did cost me 12 GBP, British pounds, which really, in the grand scheme of things, a one-time fee in this world of subscription-based products is really not that bad. So I paid the 12 pound to sign up. I got a UK address, and then I went on the Derwent website. And there is an option if you click on the Chromaflow tab to build your own tin. And you can mix and match whatever pencils you want in these tins. Again, this is where your price is going to change. So if you only need to replace 6 Chromaflows and you want to throw some Inktense in there, you can absolutely do that. You can mix and match across the lines. You could fill this entire tin with 24 of one single color of pencil. So they come in a 6, a 12, and a 24 option tin. I went with the 24, and I filled filled the tin with just Chromaflow. So there's like 3 of the licorice pencil in here. I use that a lot for shading. And for 12 of the Chromaflows with the discount that comes from building your own tin, I paid about 35 GBP. When I checked out, I used my Skypax forwarding UK mailing address and had my package sent to that. Once Skypax received it, it went into my dashboard, and I was able to then go in, select the package, say, yes, I'm ready for it to be forwarded to me in the US, select my shipping option. They give you a bunch of different options ranging from the cheapest to the most expensive. The cheapest option at the time for me was through USPS, and it was about, I think I paid 22 GBP, so about 27 US dollars, which really, I've shipped things domestically to people in the US a state over that cost me about that much. So for me, I really didn't think that the cost was too bad, and the process was incredibly seamless. I placed my order with Derwent on the 13th, which was Sunday, I believe. It shipped from Derwent within 36 hours, I would say, within about a day and a half. I was able to track it from Derwent to Skypax, was notified when Skypax received it. Within 48 hours, it was in my Skypax dashboard. I went in, I selected, I was ready for it to be shipped onward, and I just got my pencils on Friday, was able to track them the entire way from Transglobal, which was the air carrier that got it to the US, when it was turned over to USPS, and then its travel through USPS to me. So for almost two weeks of travel, I'm absolutely satisfied with that time frame. I found the process very easy. It went pretty seamless to me. Now, granted, this is the first time that I had utilized that company. I did a bunch of reviews before I selected them, and I will link to their website in the description below if this is something that you decide that you want to do for yourself. If you use these pencils a lot and you're concerned about not being able to replace some of those colors that are limited to just the Derwent website at this point, it may be an option for you. Now, also keep in mind, I am making content, and the expense, it comes out of what I make on the channel. And since this is kind of a side hustle for me, I can write the expense off at the end of the year. So also something to keep in mind. But it is unfortunate that as of now, there's no plans to make those 50 colors easily accessible, open stock. But there is an option if you really enjoy these pencils. So it's not completely, out of the realm of possibility, and it is definitely cheaper than having to buy a whole other tin of 150 pencils to get one color when you could select 3, 4, 5 of one color and curate your own tin. So, unfortunately, not quite the news that I had hoped to be able to get concerning these pencils, but hopefully this is something that helps you make decisions whether or not you were on the fence about maybe buying the 150 pencils, but we're waiting to see if they were going to release those additional 50, because I know for some people that was a sticking point. Why spend $150 on a tin of pencils knowing that you might not readily be able to replace a chunk of them? So some options for you. I hope you found this information helpful. And if you have any questions further about the process, feel free to leave me a comment and I will do my best to explain more in depth. You can also shoot me an email if you want to get more info that way. It's in my my bio. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I will catch you in the next one.